Hello everyone, I'm Giovanni Benvenuti, an Italian professional saxophone player. I mainly play tenor, saxophone, but also soprano, saxophone and clarinet. This is the first video I make in English, so I apologize for my pronunciation. Anyway, today I would like to talk you about an instrument I played for about 4 or 5 years, and it is a soprano saxophone, a Yamaha 82ZR. It is not the first soprano saxophone I played. The first one was a Yanagisawa 991, a very free-blowing instrument. It was very good, but unfortunately at some point during a gig it fell on the ground and it bent in the middle. So I repaired it, but the intonation wasn't quite the same, so I had to switch. So I switched to a Paul Moria, in a very good instrument. I liked for quite a while, for about 2 years, but after 2 years I decided I wanted something else. So I switched again to a silver-plated Rampone Cazzani. A good instrument. The sound was huge, I'd say, but the intonation wasn't really perfect. At least for me. Maybe it was my fault, I don't know, but the instrument wasn't for me. So I switched again to a Yamaha 82ZR. So why do I play this instrument? Of course, there is no perfect instrument, especially there is no perfect soprano saxophone. Any instrument is a matter of compromise. You have to know what you are searching for, how you want to sound like, and so on. So what do I like about this instrument and what do I dislike about this instrument? First of all, let's talk about the intonation. The intonation is the main concern when we talk about soprano saxophones. There is no perfectly in-tuned soprano saxophone, but this one is very good. The intonation is very good. I mean, it is not perfect, of course, because it is a soprano saxophone, but it is very easy to play it in tune. Of course, you have to make some corrections with your lips and so on, but the corrections are really small. So the intonation is not a big deal with this instrument. And this is probably the main reason I play it. But let's talk also about the ergonomics. The ergonomics are good, probably not perfect, at least for me, but it's a matter of taste. But the main fingering, the main keys are perfect. They are exactly where they should be. So really easy to operate. Especially the palm keys, they are perfect, especially if you have a large hand, well shaped. And also the alternative F sharp. I like the shape, I like the position, it is very easy. What I don't really like is the inclination of these two keys. I probably rather preferred if they were a little lower. And I don't like at all the mechanism of the low B flat mechanism. At some point Yamaha switched to tilting mechanism. As you can see, the key is tilting. I prefer the older mechanism, but I mean it is not a big deal, and of course it is a matter of taste. So why did I choose a semi-curved neck? The main reason is when I was at the shop trying different instruments, I find out that I preferred one-piece soprano, so with no detachable neck. I don't like the detachable neck. I don't know why. Many prefer the detachable neck. I don't. There is a reason why I didn't didn't buy the straight neck, it is because my main instrument is tenor, so I'm used to have my hands like this. If I play a straight soprano, I always bow. I find myself like this, and it is not good, of course. The semi-curved neck helps me to deal with that, and helps me to maintain the right position of my neck. So that's the only reason. Some say that it changed something in the sound. I don't know. I didn't feel like that, so I'm happy with that. Let's say. So it is also a very good instrument to look. The engraving is beautiful and so on. Of course, it is not so important, but in some way it is important. Because when you take your instrument, when you open the box and you watch your instrument every day before start playing, if you look at a very beautiful instrument, of course, in some way you feel inspired. At least I feel inspired. Anyway, it is not so important. Let's talk about probably the most important thing, which is the sound, of course. The sound quality, it is good, but here I made some sort of a compromise. I have to admit that I prefer the sound of older saxophones. For example, my favorite soprano sound is the Sidney Bechet sound, that big, fat, dark, huge vintage sound. Of course, this instrument doesn't sound like that. It is a little brighter, very clean, but let's say it is difficult to personalize the sound of this kind of instrument because it is very stable, but also I'd say it has his own sound and you can't really modify it. So why didn't I buy a vintage saxophone like a Mark 6 or a Con or something like that? Because older soprano saxophone often have big problem in the intonation. The intonation is not perfect at all. So you have to really spend a lot of time to deal with that, to know your instrument at best and correct with your lips and the way you blow all the intonation issues. I mainly play tenor, so I decided to buy a modern saxophone that doesn't have the same sound quality, but it is easier to play. If you don't play it for, let's say, a couple weeks, you play only tenor for a couple weeks, you take your soprano and it works, no problem with that. So that's the main reason. So do I suggest you to buy it? It depends. If you are a soprano saxophone player, if you only play soprano or your main instrument is soprano, you can try an older soprano like a Mark 6 or a Con and spend a lot of time, spend much time with that and be able to play it in tune and having a really huge sound. If you, like me, if you are a tenor saxophone player or an alto player who sometimes plays a soprano saxophone, go for it. It is probably one of the best sopranos in the market and available, and it is almost perfect if you are searching for a working instrument that always plays in tune and doesn't have any problems. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I suggest you to Please consider to follow me also in my Instagram page and my Facebook page, Giovanni Benvenuti Music. Please subscribe this channel and comment anything you want. Put some comments below. If you want to listen my last record, Paulina and the Android, you can find it in all streaming devices like Spotify, Apple Music, and so on. So, see you the next time.